This is Point Black. Coming in hard, not the card. Coming with the flow from the barrio and the heat from the motherfucking street. Coming with the flow. Going on them heads. You know what I'm saying? Coming with the facts to crack their back. This is how we do. This is PBNN, Point Black, National News, the late edition. That's how we going with this one. Sometimes we have to get a little boring in the political game, and we know it gets a little boring. But don't you worry, Point Black's gonna always be here to keep checking on the heat in the street, and that's a fact. So we have to start looking at the whole ideology of, again, like I said, what's going on. You know what I mean? And we have to look at these politicians more carefully as they play the game. Because one thing they know how to do is play the game. I see somebody say that Biden don't really pay attention to the stats or statistic. No. Why would he pay attention to the statistic based on the fact of saying America is not racist? You know what I'm saying? He's a demon Democrat. You know what I'm saying? They definitely down with the extremists themselves. Because I don't know what type of extremist he is, but he's a demon Democrat. Based on Luciferianism, based on the whole fact of, you trying to get this man to acknowledge this. Now Kamala tried to jump in the bandwagon and the bucket and say that he, at least Biden is saying something about it. Yeah, he's gonna do that in order to get you to follow him. That don't mean he's not involved in the game when it comes to that kind of garbage. You know what I'm saying? So we have to watch even the whole ideology of them and what they're saying, because they think that they slick and can slide in all kinds of little statements and jokes and jabs, based on they have already made their thing. If the system is racist, is Biden responsible? You know what I'm saying? Because right about now, he's the president of the United States. So if any racism is ejected upon any form of outgoing overstanding, then we have to understand that he's a part of it. I mean, how dumb can you be? Anybody could play a trick on anyone. We explained this before, and we've got to understand that anybody can be fooled. So you have to wake up to those facts. You know what I mean? Because systematic racism, you know what I'm saying, it is what we are told. Really? Because when you are told systematic racism in school, different places, you see the different racism. Some such as like when you used to go to school years ago, and people used to call you mud people and monkeys and all niggers and all kinds of words like that. But then when we go to school and we see a picture on the wall of a monkey turning into the walk all the way to a man, you know what I'm saying, the walk up from a monkey to a man, it turns into a white man. You see what I'm saying? Even on the wall of school, you know what I'm saying? The monkey in the picture goes from a monkey to walking a little more, looking a little more, then more like a man. You know what I'm saying? So if we were monkeys, then the picture would depict the monkey turning from that to that to that to that to a black man. No, it turns to a white man. So to me, he's always been telling me where he came from if he's not careful. So he has to watch what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about racism, you know what I'm saying, we look at the different things that were said to us even on jobs and different places. You know what I'm saying? This is what we were told. America is founded upon this. You know what I'm saying? America is founded upon systematic racism, is what we were told, and Americans are founded upon it, even down to the even educational system and religion. But if the problem is the result of racism being embedded, you know what I'm saying? Being embedded to many of these things is if it's being embedded, then we have to start looking at the fact of how do we get it out of the system, and that is not going to be easy because if it's embedded in every single institution, mhm, if it's embedded in every single institution, then should Democrats, you know what I'm saying, should Democrats run institutions not accept, you know what I'm saying, some of the blame and apologize is what we're asking while they're busy saying all these foolish things they say. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at the whole fact of the matter, a lot of people do that. They definitely will say stuff out their mouth, but then when the heat comes down, they say, oh no, I'm not this and I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? Just because you weren't around when your parents or so-called leaders back then were doing it, no, you are a victim of it now. So the only thing that you know is what they're telling you. And if you're coming from the white side of town, then what are they telling you? They're gonna be telling you stuff like, you know, you're superior, you're better than them, and da 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 da, and in school, and you know, you're much smarter, and they can't do this and they can't do that. But that's not true because if that was the case, then if you were smarter, stronger, then a lot of more things you would be able to do like us. You know what I'm saying? So if you can do it like us, then you are just as strong as us or whatever. But it's not based upon the color of your skin is the lie that was told because you have weak people as well as you have strong people, whether they're black or white or any color. But there is a difference between the genetical group. You know what I'm saying? During a look at Biden, you know, when I took a look at Biden's press release or press correspondent, you know, if Biden would accept to me his own, you know, capabilities, capabilities, you know what I'm saying, in the systematic racism that he had mentioned that Floyd debt ripped the binder off for a whole world to see the systematic racism. You see what I'm saying? It ripped it right off. So we see the systematic racism because when you look at the George Floyd case, you know what I'm saying, you have 5, 6 guys or 4 guys, you know, one on his neck, one on his back, one on his leg, you know, one all the way down to the bottom. You cutting off full circulation as if you knew that was your intention. And as your knee was on this man's neck, you busy making statement about, yeah, go to sleep, yeah, rubbing your knee into his neck while you crack his jaw and break his neck and everything else. Hate to be so gruesome about it, but we see the systematic racism and that cannot be. You know what I'm saying? So if you're asking cops to be hated, then these guys have set it up to fall that way because they probably were Antifa anyway and Evo. You know what I'm saying? So, but he is an he to me he is the architect of multiple federal laws in the 80s. So, you know, Biden has a lot to answer for. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of different laws that he signed in the 80s and the 90s that disproportionately, you know what I'm saying, disproportionately jailed black people and contributed to what many people see as systematic racism. So what Biden is talking about and what Kamala is talking about doesn't make any sense because she locked up a lot of people for marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Something that's no more than a cigarette. Really. Even if you got buzz off of marijuana, you know what I'm saying, and don't do anything else except just marijuana, you're not going to be doing much of anything except driving your ass to McDonald's to go get, you know what I'm saying, a 10-piece with a motherfucking order fries, you know what I'm saying, with some barbecue sauce on the side for your nuggets and double dipping. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to sit there doing a whole bunch of garbage because your sensory is going to be on point. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're trying you not to get. So if Biden and Kamala jailed a lot of black people in the 80s and the 90s with their crime bill, and she putting them in jail as some kind of top cop or district attorney, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They have a lot to answer for in the racism that they ejected on black people in the 80s and the 90s. They still have not apologized for that. That jailed a lot and contributed to people, contributed to what I think I would call, and many people would call, systematic racism. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. You know what I'm saying? To what extent does the president acknowledge his own, you know what I'm saying? And how does that inform, you know what I'm saying, his current policy and position is what we have to understand. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at Jen, uh, Jen Psaki or whatever her crazy ass is talking about, you know what I'm saying? She said some garbage like what did she say? Well, I would say that the president is of the president one of the president core objective is addressing racial injustice. You know what I'm saying? But to me, that's garbage. Because then what happened with George Floyd and many other brothers and sisters that have been gunned down by crazy ass bald headed fruit bowls, needs to really look at, because she's trying to see the president is looking at the injustice in the country not just through his rhetoric but through his actions, and I don't see that, so she's lying. You know what I'm saying? Her claim goes on the founder because she's just trying to back it up, because to me she ain't no more than a demon Democrat her damn self. You know what I'm saying? A deep stater. So she'll say anything to make him sound good. You know what I mean? And what anyone should look to is his advocacy for passing the George Floyd Justice in Policy Act, for nominating leaders to the Department of Justice to address, you know what I'm saying, the long outdated policies, and to ask his team leaders, as team and leadership teams here in in the White House to uh prioritize to prioritize these issues in his presidency, which is current and today, and not just from 30 years ago. So we see in it the whole vibe of how they are not paying attention to nothing these people have done, based on the fact that they voted for these people, based on the fact that you're being brainwashed into being a demon Democrat for years. You know what I'm saying? As a demon Democrat, so are these civil rights leaders and these different news medias and these fake news outlets have perpetrated the Democrats to be the glorious train that's coming over the horizon, when in essence they have been the wicked and the Luciferian demonistic rule in our government for years, even going back to 9/11 with George Bush Jr. and Sr. You know what I'm saying? Some of the statements that his father made, rest his soul, or whatever he called it. He made statements saying the same thing. I'm sorry that I did this and I didn't know what I signed this bill like. I put this and that. They always apologize when their time is coming to an end, based on the fact that you already done did the garbage and the damage is now written into law. And when you leave out, you leave us in this mess. So, same go for Kamala and Biden. You know what I'm saying? You signing all these laws and executive laws and all kinds of laws, and then saying that you ain't systematically racist. You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't racist. You in a systematic racism. Same with child support. Child support can be very systematic and unrealistic, based on people's lives and where they live geographically. You see what I'm saying? And have no care for you at all. Everybody else lives, you get sucked dry to standing in front of 7-Eleven begging 50 cents because you can't afford to live in the area, but your children can, because they're getting Section 8, for each kid they're getting a check, and they're getting all kinds of government benefits. What are you getting as a father? Kick the fuck out because you don't agree, or something happened where you end up out the house and you can't go live with them once they get on Section 8. So not only barring you out, but completely barring you out. And then you as a single person, as a father, like me of 57 years going into 60s, is now looking for housing and help and different things. You can't get, we don't get Section 8 to men. You can sign up though, but it'll take 5, 10, 20 years. By then, your whole life has been destroyed, and every dime you have ever made have been taken from you. To give to your family, which you would have done in a normal mind state anyway, because that's what I was doing before that happened. I was trying to establish that. You know what I'm saying? But being that people do wicked things and pull you into their wicked system, and then they put the wicked racist groove on you, how do you come out of that when they will not hear your cry, nor will they even look at the economical status, nor nothing, nor provide any solution or reinstate your license if the girl or whoever in child support said to suspend your license? You'll never get it back. You would have to get 3 jobs, 4 jobs in order to pay it back. You know what I'm saying? So there is systematic racism in all forms. Even when it comes sometimes to social service, you have to be careful. You know what I'm saying? So if there's not systematic racism, then there wouldn't be so many people on social service at all. There wouldn't be so many women on Section 8 at all. There wouldn't be so many people on food stamp at all, especially on the east end of Long Island. So don't come with that garbage, because you see the housing prices around there has outpriced the single individual, no matter how hard you work. Because a job to me just means just over broke. That's what the word job means, because they're not going to pay you in order to think. You have to invest the money and do whatever you have to do to get the money to flow. You know what I'm saying? Which they'll say, well, it's unfortunate that he's not. Yeah, okay, it's unfortunate that you have systematic racism too. So we don't want to hear that garbage. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but Kasi, quickly is to me needs to be removed, and she needs to give up office. She full of doo. You know what I'm saying? She full of doo. You know what I mean? You know. So we looked at many issues where they're trying to say there isn't systematic racism. Yes, there is. So I don't know what Tim Scott was trying to project in his speech, but you have to watch what you're saying when the public is listening. You know what I'm saying? And you come in with these games. You might be in the Luciferian host of nonsense, but we're not. You know what I'm saying? We're not in that with him. So we have to watch a lot of things that are going on in what is being said out here. So this is Point Black dropping the first clip, you know what I'm saying, on that joint, and I'll be back with part 2. You know what I'm saying? So stay tight, stay right. Point Black out. This is PBNN, Point Black, National News, the late edition.